But then Sinet starts telling me that I should move on from this story, that I probably shouldn't even make this video, because everyone wants to forget about it. I start to receive all of these threats from Sinet on Twitter. But we're talking about Sinet having nothing left to lose and all of the time in the world to just harass me.
Stalked is the most wanted hacker on the loose after hacking into the US military. Now he is preying on YouTuber Vince Vintage, and money isn't the only thing he wants. Nope, San is out for blood, which leads us all to think, what could an innocent YouTuber have done to infuriate Stalked? Or is he really innocent? The known hacker, Stalked, played a major role in a global hacking crew that sneakily broke into major tech companies like Microsoft, Epic Games, and Valve Corporation. Can you guess the damage he might have caused? A huge $100 to $200 million hit. By the sounds of it, you can already tell that Vintage is in over his head and is certainly playing with the biggest dogs of them all.
I've received messages nearly every single hour for the last 35 days from this man. And now we're at the point where this man has placed 4 copyright strikes on my videos to get my channel terminated.
Make no mistake, this isn't your ordinary feud. Why? Because it also involved exploiting YouTube's security flaws like a seasoned pro in addition to threats. Even the extensive involvement of the whole YouTube community and cyberbullying authorities couldn't put a stop to it. That is how this YouTuber found himself knee-deep in an escalating cyber showdown. But the reason why Stalked was out for Vince's blood is an even more interesting one. Vince might have exposed him in one of his videos, which did not sit well with the hacker. After all, mystery is all these computer geeks live for. Our story begins with Vince Vintage, a YouTube storyteller extraordinaire. He kicked off his YouTube journey in September 2020. Within 3 years, he skyrocketed to YouTube stardom, boosting up to 531,000 subscribers and nearly 37 million views. In July 2023, Vince decided to upload a video exposing a teen hacker who happened to be the FBI's most wanted. Little did he know that this video would lead him down a rabbit hole that will turn his life upside down. It all started innocently enough with Vince sending a friendly interview request to a hacker named Stalked.
I saw that Sinet had done an interview about all of his crimes publicly on the Darknet Diaries podcast.
But Stalked wasn't too happy with Vince digging around. So he gave a fair warning to not make a video about him. Vince did not take his words seriously, and it definitely got worse for YouTuber Vintage. As soon as Vince posted the video, it went viral, which is what flipped the hacker's switch.
So 2 months later, I published my video on July 25th, 2023. And the video's a 1 out of 10, it's doing really well. I'm really proud of it.
This is when the story turned from intriguing to downright chilling. Threats, insults, and incessant messages flooded Vince's digital doorstep, turning his online life into a never-ending haunted house. At this point, I might have been bricks.
I started to receive all of these threats from Sinet on Twitter.
Vince couldn't make sense of what was happening because why did it bother Stalked so much? It's not like he was the first one to expose him. So why was the hacker so unnerved? Initially, Vince tried to stay immune and gave no response, but things got worse with each passing second.
He's calling it a piece of scum, telling me I shouldn't be a YouTuber, and he's sending me tweets every single hour, all through the night.
So in a desperate attempt to escape this virtual hell, Vince did what anyone would do. He hit the block button. But little did he know, that would only turn up the heat on this digital frying pan.
At 10:30 on July 29, 2003, on everything. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever.
93 minutes after Vince had blocked him from every social media platform, and boom! Out of the digital ether came a DMCA claim, the weapon of choice for copyright disputes. This one was supposedly from a guy named Adam Chester. Now here's the kicker. Adam Chester, a name as common as a rainy day in London, was hiding something, and it wasn't just a fondness for YouTube drama. The email used in the claim, aka Proton Mail, is extensively used by hackers to conceal their identity. That's how Vince knew who had done it.
So Proton Mail is notoriously used by hackers to hide their identity, which Sinet pleaded guilty to hacking into the US government.
With that, Adam contacted Vince to let him in on another secret. He wasn't stopping anytime soon. Adam threatened Vince, subtly reminding him that 3 copyright infringement complaints within 90 days could ban his channel. and Adam McKay Sanard was very much capable of making that happen.
Since 3 strikes in 90 days leads to your channel getting banned, just be careful in future videos. Have a good weekend.
But Vince had no other option but to rely on YouTube's rather faulty system. He decided to file a counterclaim. YouTube insisted on using his legal name and his authentic private information to file a complaint. But that would mean Vince would have to risk the hacker knowing more about him than he wanted. When you think about it, Sanard could do a lot with Vince's private information. Vince felt unsafe as anyone else would, so he resorted to putting his hired attorney's info on the legal documents, but that was also against the YouTube policies.
But YouTube does not accept the form with my attorney's name on it. YouTube says that I have to provide my legal name tied to my AdSense account.
As the harassment continued, Vince knew he was in deep water and he wasn't Michael Phelps. So he hired a private investigator to unveil the elusive Sanad's true identity. What he found was a hacker with a very shady rap sheet. Sanad had nothing to lose, no family, no job, or any loose strings. And that is when Vince realized that he was in grave danger.
He lived at his mom's house and he just moved into his uncle's apartment that he lives in for free, and that he had tried to commit suicide the year before.
Things weren't looking good for him, especially now that the complaint had all of Vince's personal information, including his address and family data. Sanad had gone all out and started harassing Vince's fiancée too.
Sanad had found my fiance's phone number and began texting her, pretending to be me.
Fearing for his safety and that of his family, Vince took the drastic step of moving out of his home. But this was no ordinary gamer rage quit. It was a battle for survival in the digital wilderness. But the hacker was no quitter, so came the second and eventually the third strike. And now Vince's YouTube channel was copyright banned. All of his hard work went down the drain. Vince suffered financially.
Then I get a third strike on my channel. Everything that I've built over the past 3 years is about to be gone in 90 days now.
But he wasn't about to throw in the towel. He stood up to his tormentor in a public video declaring war on the relentless digital darkness. And guess what? The world listened, fellow YouTubers and viewers rallied behind him, and the pressure on YouTube to take action became intense.
Vince Vantage, a documentary-style YouTuber who is currently having his livelihood deconstructed by a vicious convicted hacker.
Fans from all over the world were equally enraged. They dropped tweets like, "YouTube won't help Vince Vintage with his stalker, but they will push his video about it in the algo. What a terrible website, damn. You force someone to dox themselves to a stalker in order to keep their livelihood. Fix your counterclaim system. Are you ever ashamed of how you treat your creators? You should be." Finally, YouTube came to its senses and removed those pesky false copyright strikes. Vince emerged from the digital fog victorious, but the battle scars remained. He might have put this whole fiasco behind him, but we are all left with one thought. We don't need robots to end humanity. A deranged man sitting behind a computer can do that job just fine. Don't you think?